Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is about habits, and we all know how difficult it is to change a habit. And the thing is about habits, they say it takes 3 weeks to change a habit. This is minimum for small habits, but it can actually take up to 6 months or longer to change a very deep rooted habit. See, habits are a string of behaviors that we do over and over and over and over until it becomes an unconscious process of us just repeating the same behavior over and over and over. And we do this a lot of the time without realizing that we are constantly engaging in this habit. The important thing about habits to understand is that it always has to do with a reward or punishment. A behavior is reinforced when we are rewarded, even if it's just a little dopamine boost. When we are rewarded, we say, oh, I was rewarded for this. This feels good. Let me do it again. Oh, it feels good. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Until you are reinforcing that habit so much. And with punishment, we create habits to avoid certain circumstances, certain people. We create habits to avoid pain. And we either seek reward or we avoid pain. And habits could also be rooted in avoiding pain and avoiding very difficult situations and avoiding things and people in life. Remember, habits need to be reinforced. What reinforcement is doing the same thing over and over and over with the same reward or the same punishment as an incentive to keep doing the habit over and over and over. They can't just start out of nowhere. They need to be reinforced. They need to be practiced with consistency daily for them to actually become a part of your daily routine and for them to become a part of your daily lifestyle. An important thing to understand is that habits can't be removed. You can't unlearn something. Once you learn something, you can't forget about it. Especially something you've been doing for years and years and years and years. You're not just going to stop one day and say, oh, I don't remember how to do it anymore. I don't remember I was doing it anymore. No. So habits can't be unlearned. They cannot be removed. You can't remove a behavior. Well, you can remove a behavior, but you can't remove the learned behavior. What you can do to change a habit is to overlap it with something healthier, something more constructive, something that's better for you. For example, if you drink a lot of soda and you start drinking water instead, you reinforce that, and you can reinforce that through a small dopamine reward, or you can reinforce it through affirmations. We don't realize how much our affirmations reinforce our habits and behaviors because it becomes an unconscious process after a while, and we don't even realize how destructive it is to our lives, how destructive it is to us. When you want to change a habit, it's important that you know that you need to do the opposite of that behavior. So you need to stop that behavior immediately and do the exact opposite. If you want to get more active but you struggle with procrastination, stop engaging in procrastination. Engage in productivity. Force yourself. And yes, it's so difficult and it will be for a while, but the more you reinforce change, the easier and the better it gets, and the better you get at reinforcing change and growth. So the only way to truly actually stop a habit is to stop the behavior that leads to the habit and do the opposite of that destructive habit. And do something that will stop the habit, like a pattern interrupt or a break or anything that you can use to distract yourself from engaging in that unhealthy habit. And habits actually determine how physically healthy we are. We all know this because we all have unhealthy lifestyle habits, even if it's just one or two. We may wake up late, we may not eat breakfast, we may skip meals, we might eat a lot of sugar during the day, and your habits take a huge toll on your physical health. But what people don't realize is that habits take a huge toll on your mental health. We don't realize these small habits that we do that actually affect our mental health so greatly. All the small things, how we reinforce things in our minds, how we internalize things, and how we create more of what we have in our minds. We don't realize how that can affect our mental health. We don't realize how these small things that we do are actually so destructive for the psyche. And habits can be limiting. Habits can stop you from achieving your goals because you might have a habit of procrastinating, and habits can stop you from being healthy and active because you may struggle with motivation and you are unable to physically bring yourself to the point where you can make that change. But it's so important that you keep reinforcing and you keep pushing to change unhealthy and destructive habits, because they will stop you in life. They will limit you. They will inhibit you from achieving your goals. They will inhibit you on your journey. And we think they're helpful, but they're actually a lot more destructive than we give it credit for. And habits are created in a very unique way. Habits are created when we engage in a specific way of doing something, and we repeat it, and we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it with an outcome in mind. We do it with something that is going to be a result of that habit, that's going to be a result of that behavior. And we repeat it, and we repeat it, and we repeat it, and it's small little behaviors that make up a habit. It's not just one behavior, one thing that you are constantly doing. It's a string of small things that lead up to that habit. If you are stressed and you just want to sit down and you don't want to do anything, that you have a workout, you are enforcing the habit of being stressed and the habit of not looking for stress release. And we do reinforce our emotions, and our emotions and our thoughts can also become habitual. And habits are carried out by the subconscious. The subconscious controls your behavior and your habits. Everything that you do, all your behaviors, all your habits are stored in the subconscious. And that's why we do these things without being aware of them, without thinking about them. And that's why it's so important that you make yourself aware of your habits. And habits affect relationships as well, because if you are doing something unhealthy in a relationship, it might affect your connection and how you connect with each other, because the other person will be so worried about you and so worried about the fact that you are not looking after yourself, you are not looking after yourself well. It could put a rift in the relationship because you are no longer taking responsibility and self-managing for yourself. The longer a habit is reinforced, the more difficult it is to change it. The more we reinforce something, the stronger it gets. The more we practice something, the more we think about something, the more we reinforce it. Remember, your habits are a string of behaviors that you can always change at any point. So are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.